make some notes. Review special edition. Refactor animations into system. Perhaps create test harness for animations. All right, I think that might be suitable. We're live on Twitch. I think we're live over here. Welcome to the Hangout. So it might behoove us to take the animation system and kind of make it independent of the app code at the moment, so I can run it like on the side as a feature or something just for testing. But just to remind ourselves, the animations are about getting into the puzzle, playing the puzzle, finishing the puzzle, and then having the UI to go into the next puzzle. Boom. And doing the switching of the puzzle underneath, and obviously kind of optimized for mobile. Yada, yada, yada. All right. And then we have the menus and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the problem is, the last time I touched this, the animation system was sort of hacked in there. And like I said, I haven't touched it in a while. So we're going to have to remember how it all worked and probably clean up the animation code and pull it out. So we have the app, and I remember we probably had a lot of the stuff in this app object, and I might have to make it a little small because there's a lot of it and I need to be able to see it, and I need to have like a bit of an overview. So let's get ourselves reoriented. So we have our index page, yeah, okay, so now I recall, we're trying to load a lot of stuff on the fly. So we have like the engine itself is actually defined as sort of page data. So if we look at data, okay, created. Okay, so we have the puzzle data, the groups, and that could potentially be refactored into the pack system, but that's not a requirement for here. And engine, so the engine should be the unmodified code, hopefully. Oh. And maybe in the future, if I need to modify code, those specific files should live elsewhere. And then pages common. All right, so here's a bunch of the animation stuff. And then the pages are living here. All right. It's starting to come back together. And each page... Okay, so these are just raw files. Okay, page test. So these are JavaScript files. Because I was wondering if maybe we'll do it the other way around and actually have the HTML file represent the page and then have the script sort of defined in here, like a... But, you know, we'll see. Some system. Okay, no, that's just... All right. So, let's have a look at this. I just pressed the button a couple of times and stuff disappeared. All right, so here we're adding the pages. Okay, so we're right now we're still in the phase where it's not all in data somewhere in a file, but it's actually defined in code. So for example, something like the credits page, and I'm doing a bit of a review for my own and for your benefit, mostly for my own. So something like the credits page is just some HTML, fair enough. Then something like, and let's move this down here, something like the puzzle menu page actually has its object defined here, while something like a puzzle page is just page puzzle import. So it basically says, okay, the code is actually defined inside page puzzle.js, which is here, and that's basically the same as these things, right? So it defines a bunch of functions, but it also defines some standard properties like HTML, resources, and so on and so forth. So in other words, we probably want to move these into files as well, just for consistency's sake, right? So let's do that right away, even though they're really small. Just so, you know, I'm already seeing like, hey, down the line, this will actually be confusing to have it like this. So if I compare it to page puzzle, we basically just put that here in the root. Fix the indenting. And that basically is this, right? Except here it's a closure. We can do that. It's a tiny bit cleaner, I guess. And then we'll save this as pages. And then we'll just call it page group menu. It's a JS file. And then here, instead of this, right, it'll become kind of like that. And then this is page group menu. And we'll want to import the page group menu file. So in theory, these could define multiple objects that we can then import, right? And then here we're just going to comment this out. And we're going to do that for the others as well. Well, you know what? I'm just going to delete it. Avoid some confusion here. Do the same thing here. We'll do the same little bit of wrap in here. And this, 1 second, this email might be important and urgent at the same time. Oh yes, drop by at the village office. Should I mail them to you? All right, 1 second. I'm actually going to answer this email. I apologize for the rudeness of that, but this is an email that's kind of important for me existing and all that. And I'll apologize in advance, because if this guy says yes to me coming by to sign, I'm actually going to do that and cancel the stream. Because this is super important, unfortunately. Like, super important. In fact, I'm going to put my phone on at least vibrate, so when stuff comes in, I can hear that. All right, let's do the same thing for this page. We'll do that. Page puzzle menu. So puzzle menu. So we have that. Puzzle menu. We'll do that here. Page puzzle menu. And then we'll save this as page puzzle menu. Save that. And then we should be able to remove that. And I'm feeling bold. Let's do all three in a go. Because normally I would do these one at a time and then test, test, test. But this is the same operation times 3. So hopefully we can get away with just doing them all and then have it just work. And it'll save us a tiny little piece of time. And this is page interstitial. Page puzzle interstitial.js. Page puzzle interstitial. So we'll do this here. In fact, now I want to have these next to the ones that they're replacing. And the actual object is called page puzzle interstitial. Page puzzle interstitial. Here we go. And then we should be able to remove this as well. And then this file should also make more sense. All right, now we'll move these here. We'll probably do away with these. And now, let's save this. This is reload. Actually, I think it'll always get me the latest versions. Ooh, page puzzle interstitial is not defined. Okay. Page puzzle interstitial.js. Page puzzle interstitial. Page puzzle interstitial.js. Page puzzle interstitial. Import. Oh, it's this one. All right. Okay. Script target. Page puzzle menu. 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 Are we on the wrong indent level here? I think we might be. Page puzzle. Wait a second. If I open... I think they're all in the wrong places as well. They're supposed to be in the pages folder. So these should be in pages, right? I'm confused now because page puzzle menu, wasn't that the one that was there originally? Page puzzle menu. No. So page puzzle menu, page interstitial. Need to go into pages. And page group menu is already here. So somehow page group menu ended up in the right place and the others did not. Let's close these and close that. Page puzzle menu. And now I probably screwed it up and changed it. So page puzzle menu, page interstitial. So page interstitial, it has this, but that's an ending of a function, while page puzzle menu wait. Yeah, we're missing this closing to here, and then this closes to there. Hey, and we're back. All right. I think these are all now working from this new schema. Did I just see one having the ampersand in the title up here? One sec. Go back to here. Was that a timing issue? Oh, what happened now? Okay, so if I start from the wrong place, things aren't good. All right, well, that's fine. This is fine. That's part of the job. This is part of the job. We'll work on this. All right, one sec. He wants me to come tomorrow. Submission and buffer. Didn't need to file the VAT returns for 2021. Do you have the physical forms or online access? Right, well, I appreciate he taking care of that right now. All right, so reference error. Okay, let me make this smaller. So we have, actually, I think we can probably just do the, nope. We can probably, nope. Probably, nope, we can do this. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that should be fine. So this doesn't get loaded correctly. Probably because we're making a reference to a global thing here. Yeah, which we now have to do differently. And I think the one that was in puzzle menu, the one that existed prior is page puzzle. So let's use that as our reference. Android, iOS, and Steam. And hopefully macOS and Linux as well. Probably, maybe. SPSA. Where do we get SPSA here? App. App is this. So I think app here is SPSA, right? So if I do this, maybe this will do the trick. Page group menu. Oh, page group menu. But, you know, same principle. But wait. Wait a second. So this. Oh, okay. So we'll probably have to change that to functions. So we have the bindings and all that stuff. All right, function. That's fine. That's fine. No biggie. So we have this SPSE app. Okay. And then we'll basically just do this instead of that. And then we'll have to rewrite the others as well. Hey, look at that. Yeah, so it works the second time around, but it won't work on the first try because of it not being available yet. So I guess this is the next one. So SPSE, whatever I called it. SudokuPad Special Edition, I believe. Line 8. Line 8. Page puzzle menu. I'm not looking at the right place. All right, so we're gonna have to rewrite a whole bunch of these, I think. So these have to all become functions. All right, maybe a little bit more work than I anticipated. Okay. And then we'll probably do something like this. Right. And then we'll do this and that. There we go. Now we do that. And we'll go back. We'll go back. We'll go back. We'll go back. Refresh. 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 Now, there are a bunch here. Maybe the interstitials we need to test. So... Oh, I don't think the interstitials are happening anymore. So we might not have to do these at all. And in fact, these might not actually need to be loaded. Page plus one, page. Okay, so now I think that's all of that. And I don't know if this ever leaks. It does leak into the global. Maybe if we unleak it, we can catch it. Where else I'm kind of depending on the global. Probably was a bad thing to begin with. Okay. We'll need to go back to puzzles with... wait a second. So if this is undefined, that is... let me think. We're rendering the page. we're rendering the page in puzzle menu, page group menu. Not sure. Page puzzle menu. Page puzzle menu, page group menu. Title. Trophies. So if I poke at this, that's probably the trophies biddy. Group text. I'm not seeing that here. All right. Let's do search for group text. Group pretext. Group pretext. All right. We'll probably want to do, I don't know if we want to show it with an empty string or if we want to skip it if it doesn't exist. I mean, we can kind of presume that it'll always exist, I guess. More or less. So we can probably do this. Missing part times, yeah, that makes sense. Missing part times, yeah. All right, test group 1. Go in here, start puzzle, finish puzzle, transition, continue. Okay. Next snag, we're desnagging. We're just going to clean up the structure before we start refactoring the animation system out, I think. We had a lot of stuff working quite smoothly at this stage already. 2, 4, 3. So we'll probably 2, 4, 3. It's busy. So I think this is just because I removed the global. 2, 4. Oh, that's 1, 4. 2, 2, 4, 3. So we have animations here. Handle dialog button. Oh god, we're in like a big giant mega function. So the thing is, I think the app here gets overloaded by app here. Maybe. Let's see. 2, 4, 3. 2, 4, 3. 2, 4, 3. Console.log. App. And I'm putting the type offs first because obviously once these don't exist, it'll die. All right, so if we start puzzle, finish the puzzle, and then continue. Object undefined. Yeah, so we'll just use app here. We have to be a bit careful because obviously app is also an important variable in the engine. So we have to be careful that we're not getting like overloaded there. All right, continue. Boom. There's a little flash. Hopefully we can cover that somehow. Or just avoid it, you know. There's little things I wouldn't mind hacking into the engine to make those things work better. Now if I go to the last one, right, we'll enter the solution and then finish. Okay, so we the transition between groups, I don't know if that was actually done yet. All right. Oh, maybe I can get my ID card renewed and my taxes paid and Google will start sending me money again. Those would all be great things. All right, part-times. On finish. The problem is this might be inside a trigger, so it might not actually be the app code that is at fault here. 311 puzz.parttimes. Because... Okay, no, that makes sense. We're happy to return the undefined, it's just it's working on something here where puzz just might not. So we can either do something like this. I think if we do this, it'll still work, right? So if we do this, go here, start the puzzle, put a 4 in here, and then continue. Undefined, setting part-times, 313. If not array. Oh, okay. So we'll basically want to do if puzz. We'll just be verbose. And now that should work. I didn't realize it was a negative check. Yeah, and then it takes us back to the group. Okay, I think that's as far as we got last time. SPSE. If we do this, is that gonna find everything? I actually want this to be case sensitive for a change. Okay. H plus justicial. Justicial is basically not working right now. Or it's not in operation. Because the justicial was that you don't want to work for free and not have food. It's not even that. Working for free wouldn't be a problem. The government just still wants to know certain things. And my ID card just expired. And I'm behind on paying my taxes, which, to be honest, I probably don't have... The only thing I probably have to pay is late fees because I didn't earn enough. But it's all now suddenly everything is kind of getting clogged. So it's like I cannot get my ID card renewed without having my taxes up to date. And without my ID card renewed, Google won't update their tax stuff, so they won't send me any more money. And my bank account also wants this information, and they are threatening to close my account. And obviously, if everything collapses, then I won't be able to fix any of it. So it's a bit of not a great situation. All right, let's get rid of that crutch that we were using. I think we're going to remove the interstitial. I think I'm actually going to move the file. I'm not going to delete it yet because I remember putting quite a bit of power on it. We're going to move it on into the back folder here. I think we can just move interstitial and page interstitial into back. Now, if I do this, these should just work. All right. All right. Let's fill them in. Yeah. It's way above my pay grade. Enter solution. Oh, wait. Yeah. Did that work? Hey, look at that. Boom. And off we go. And then, in theory, we go to the next group. All right. Okay, so let's see what we can do about isolating the animation stuff more. It should already be somewhat contained. So here's where things... Well, this is basically now just loading the pages more or less. So that's actually really nice. We want this to be simple. Yeah, let's save that. Okay, step 2. all of this mess. So this is where we had a bunch of integrations with the interstitial page and all the different ways of doing the animations and yada, yada, yada. So let's see if we can unravel the animation stuff from the app engine stuff. And what's the should I write this down? I miss my state machine. I created a little silly state machine thing that made this sort of stuff really easy to kind of say, hey, what's happening next, right? And I'm tempted to bring it in here because it's super useful to know, like, hey, you're currently in the state of showing this page, or in the state of running the initial animation. So if you need to do something else at this point, that's not going to happen, or you got to do this, or, you know. Let's think about it first of all. So when we start, let's go back to start after all. So we run start. That makes sense. So we go in here, we run start, we attach handlers, fine, and then we show the page of the current hash. So we do show page first, and we can see that up here. We have show page, then we have page menu. What is the args for here? Args, this page args, group test. All right, fair enough. And then we'll do show page, page load, show page, page unload. Let's refresh on this page. Show page, page load. So show page puzzle. That means we're doing a page unload, and then we'll do a page load, and then show dialog start. Okay. So page unload, on before unload, yada, yada, yada. And then we have page load. And then we're trying to kind of order things. So previous things go out, new things come in, resources get loaded the right places. Some resources get maintained, so we don't throw them away. We kind of cache them. Okay, so that stuff is actually pretty solid. So let's have a look at the call. So I guess when we're going into a puzzle, the animation stuff is actually handled by the page handlers. So page puzzle menu. So this is the one without the animation, and then page puzzle here is the one with all the fancy animations, right? And yeah. So this is where all this stuff happens. And the events we're firing, page load, get page, page unload, if. I'm trying to see where the event handlers, here we go, page func. So, if we go in here, let's get a little line like this going here. So we have page. Name. Args. So we have page. Why do we pass name here? Oh, it's the name of the function. All right. So we kind of want to do something like this is actually page.name. And then we'll have name. And then args we'll just skip for now. So page func, page on preload, on load, start. Page func, puzzle on post load. All right, I wanna have quotes around these for some reason. All right, on post load, then we get show dialog correct. There's no events here, so that's done via the show dialog correct stuff. Okay, so show dialog correct. That is page puzzle 144. So let us actually do this as well. And then we can kind of maybe annotate what's happening in the order of operations with these animations. Yeah, all of these, can I pull these out of here? Well, I'm glad you're inspired to work, but be careful about your sleep schedule. But you know, sometimes, at least in my case, sometimes I just gotta accept the productivity when it finds me. I don't get to pick and choose. And to be honest, the only reason I stream is to inspire myself to work. And it surprisingly works. It's really, really strange. If I sit down to work for 4 hours, I might spend 2 hours trying to work. If I sit down and start the stream, I'm working. And that's Toby's barking in his dreams. Aw, so cute. Alright. So, let us go back to here and see what happens. So let's clear that, and we want to open a puzzle. So we have a show page. We have a page unload of the puzzle menu. We're executing on before unload. So on before unload. Tell you what, why don't we put that in here and only fire it if it actually has something to fire. So if I go back to here, clear that, press here. Yeah, so on before unload doesn't actually happen. But page unload does, on preload happens, all right. So on preload should have, this. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm actually gonna extend this, do this. But then I'm actually gonna single line that and comment it out. Because it's not doing anything, it's a placeholder at the moment. We go back here. Just to clarify things to myself. Unload. Is unload the same thing? No. Okay. Alright, so unload is the first thing that happens. This is where we basically introduce this part. So we're loading up the puzzle here. We're making sure we're loading the puzzle at the right time. Yada, yada, yada. Alright. Some of this stuff is boilerplate, which hopefully we'll get rid of. I think we can screw these. Okay. Show dialog start. So that's show dialog start. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, let's go back here. Do this again. So, page load, page function on load, page puzzle on load here. Okay. Interesting. Page puzzle show dialog start. Nose itching. And then on post load. So on post load probably is also a placeholder. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the same thing as I did with the other one. I'll make it a single liner. Now, why did we have show dialog correct here? We obviously changed our minds about that. That history is now lost. And then on before unload, that does something. Okay. All right, let's refresh, go back, refresh, clear, enter puzzle. All right, start. Show dialog start. So we'll probably want to make those also a little bit more comprehensive. All right. Handle dialog button. So this fires off all these animations. So I think I need to reorganize these things so the animations are like in one place and in one kind of logical set. And maybe the animations need to be actually in a function of their own. So let's go back to the first one. The first set of animations, right? So when I click this, we slide in the puzzle. So this is between onload here, and then show dialog start happens down here. So if I don't execute this, okay, so show dialog start intercepts all this. And that basically show dialog start is our intro intro animation and everything. Okay. So let us actually take a closer look at what happens here in order. So we pull out a bunch of variables, fine. Puzzle info, is that something we use? No, pretext. Yeah. So we probably just want to do this, get rid of puzzle info. Map, puzzle, current puzzle, author, title, framework, parts. All right. We probably want to have this here. Like that. And then have these like that. All right, so this sets up the dialogue. Close dialogue, show dialogue. And then this is where the animation happens. Now, this has to be here. It starts these animation when you're pressing the button. And then this sets up the animation. So I'm wondering if I can get these animations. I'm just trying to think. These are named animations. Where are they? Ah, okay. Wait. I'm starting them here. I'm trying to remember how my animation is. Here I can start them. So they get saved as a named animation, right? Why? Can I just initialize them here and then start them in the same way? Does it just rerun the same animation? Ah, wait, I think there's something like hold play true. Okay, hold play true, hold play true, hold framing out. So the question is, instead of doing hold play true on these animations, let's see what these animations require. They like from the scope, right? This is here. Scale 2 is something from the scope. So all these scope variables is why the animations live here instead of in their own function. But we can maybe put them into a helper, right? So so something like start or play, puzzle, start, anim. If we do something like this, and then move all of that stuff in there, would that work? So if I do this, and then move all of this in here, and then execute this, and I say, you know, this dot play start puzzle start anim, and then I just move all of this into this function, and then we'll see what things are missing from the scope here. Because it's probably using something from the scope here, especially some of these globals, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. All right. And maybe we'll rename this. We'll do anim start puzzle in. We'll call it anim puzzle in. That's the puzzle coming in. And then we'll have a puzzle out, which is basically these. So we can do something like puzzle out. And it'll be, it can be the same code, but at least it's separated off. We'll put that in here. And then if I do this here. Now the problem is, close dialog here, are we firing that off here? Yeah, but it's a global, so we don't care, huh? Okay. So we can actually comment that out. We can probably get rid of these. So if I go back here, restart that, load that, start puzzle, finish the puzzle, continue. All right, that just works. Okay, so that makes this a lot cleaner. Now the only thing here is this might fail if this function gets called at a later stage, but that should never really happen. If I do this, no, we'll deal with that down the line. This we'll probably don't need either. So we can kind of limit this to exactly what it's supposed to do, right? All right. And then all the animations are contained in here. Let's see if we can simplify these a little bit. We'll set up these functions are all kind of self-contained, I think. I don't think they make, well, they do make reference to things like scale 2, which is here. But that's okay. Get SVG transform scale. Where's that? Okay, that's a global animation helper function. All right. Get from to top. Yeah, that's... So I don't know if there's something I can do to even... like... I could automate the selector thing here. So, for example, on init. Like I'm thinking, can I replace this with just the selector string? But the selector here sometimes is slightly different, and the whole point is running it on init. Let me think. Basically, I'm saying, can I replace this function with just this string? I mean, it'll work for the query selector stuff, right? But obviously, here I have a little bit of flexibility doing stuff like this. But to be fair, I don't necessarily need to do this. I mean, this helps in a case where I wanted to do multiple maps in the background and figure out which one we're loading from and all that. But maybe that's not super important at the moment. So maybe we'll just not care about that. Let's see what else we can do. So we have this part at the end of the dialog. So we have show dialog correct. And we'll probably want to put all of these in an animation as well. So we'll probably want to have a function called anim and I'm realizing, so we have an in and out animation for the start and an in and out animation for the end. So we'll probably want to rename them. So anim puzzle start in, puzzle start out. And the in probably sets up the out animation generally. So then here we'll have anim puzzle start out. anim puzzle start in. And then here we'll have anim puzzle end in. Right. Ooh. And then we can basically move all of this in there. Maybe. It seems too easy. It seems too easy, I'll be honest. And we'll just do something like this. Here. And then we'll just do this. Alright, refresh. Start the puzzle. And then puzzle end. Loop. Puzzle ID is not defined. Okay. We'll figure out where that breaks. But in theory, we should also have puzzle end out. And that should be whatever happens here. Right. And this will be this dot. And probably want to do this. Boom. So start. Puzzle end in. Puzzle end out. And then on finish, we're referencing something that doesn't exist. 201 here. App.get next in group puzzle ID. So I think the question is this a closure, or can we just pull that variable at that point in time? I think we can probably just pull that variable here. Like we don't even need that. Do we need group ID? Yeah, so we'll need these anyways. And there's probably a couple others we might need. We'll probably want to have all these actual constants, not just constants variables, at the top, like that. Boom. In fact, and then these will actually be in a configuration somewhere. So start. Let's clear this for conciseness. Your time 150, awesome. Okay. Puzzle out. App.get next in group not defined. Yeah. So I think it was this app that we needed, and I actually removed it. We had it, and I removed it. All right, start. End. Continue. Boom. Flash. Change. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Unfinish is currently doing this. I don't necessarily want that. It's a little noisy. So page puzzle. Unfinish line 200. Okay. So first of all, we need to do this so we know, like, because to me that looked like it's coming from the animation system, not from here. Unfinish. I think that's fine, and we probably don't need to do that. Although we were obviously debugging something here in the past. And was there some other... Handle dialog button continue, 239. Handle dialog button continue. So we want to make sure we know what we're doing. We can do this. Because in the future, you know, for example, if we rename the button and then forget that that's tied to the thing, it might cause us problems. Oh, oh, wait a second. What happened here just now? Was this the right behavior? So we're finished. Flash, go to the next one. Start. 9. Yeah. So for example, the start button might actually be up here. Like clicking on the puzzle might actually just start. In fact, having the button up here might even be more intuitive. What just happened? Did I see this right? Okay, continue. Start. Continue. Start. Finished. Success. Continue. Done. All right. That's pretty smooth. All right, so we haven't really extracted the animation system yet. And I don't quite know yet how I can make these animations more data-like and less code-like. I mean, the power of them is the fact that I can put some code in here. Something like the GSAP animation system, this part, like anything that modifies style, would be data-rified. So you could just say, oh, you know, scale it from here to here and such. And then, oh, you want the scales rounded? Yeah, that's a property, etc., you know. And maybe we'll do these as sort of little custom properties just because they're very common. But you still have to calculate the from and tos. You still have to figure out your delays and durations. Specify your eases. Frame on init true. I mean, one thing the system currently doesn't do is it's like there's no order to it. There's no timeline, so they're all independent. That's why delay needs to be like that. Except when there's hold play. And I'm wondering if the whole onFinish... because basically... I could make this a promise that returns after this. Which would be a little weird, right? But in theory, we could do that. So we could basically execute this after the thing down here. In fact, now that I think about it, what if this animation contains this, and then this happens after? I don't know if that's a good idea. Let me think. How would we represent that? We'll basically say, wait for dialogue, and show dialogue correct. I don't actually... show dialogue correct. Handle show dialogue correct. Yeah, let's not do that on the end one. Let's do it on the start one. I think it's going to be less brain breaking. So instead of show dialogue start, right? So this is show dialogue start. So what if we have a start puzzle, and then after start puzzle, and it's a async function that returns when the puzzle is finished. The problem is when it doesn't return. Would that be a problem? I just don't know if that's a good code flow. But the idea is basically being something like, if we do start puzzle, async function, and it basically creates a promise wrapped around this whole thing. And this is where the promise returns, basically. Which doesn't really help us, right? It'll still be all contained. It would help us if we make the dialogue the promise. The problem is this depends on the dialogue actually already showing. Because this is animates parts of the dialogue, right? Let me think. Frame on init. Yeah. Well, to be fair, none of these depend on the dialogue. So if we make these all hold play, and then we'll start board slide in. Okay, so I'm thinking now, what we... I mean, I don't know if it makes sense. But we could hold all of these, right? So start animate would just create these. And the only thing that we're setting up here, and we can do the same shuffling over here. Right. We are depending on the board existing. But in theory, that could be in the init. In theory, that could be in the init. Board. I also wonder if, like, sharing init functions makes sense. Like, if I make it a function, would it be bound to this? Let's try that for a sec here. So if I have a function called board slide in on init, right? Like if I do this and then and stick that in here, something like that, and we'll restart this and start the puzzle. Board slide in on init. So it's not bound to this object. But the args would contain it. So anim here works. And then if I do something like this, let's say, scale from is used here. Top 2 scale from. So we could set it in init. A clear. Top from, top 2. Yeah, basically, sorry, I'm kind of being mumbly. Basically what I'm thinking is there a way of making the setup of the animation independent of the current state of the application? In other words, move all of this into an init function. So it takes these things at the time of the animation actually starting up. The problem is, init, I think, doesn't wait. So if we go back to here, I think animation init, and where's the animation system right now? I think it's in pages common. Pages common. Common. Pages common here. Oh yeah, okay, animation, update animation progress, animation resize, anim trigger, handler, on name, anim trigger, play, start, finish, init. So start animation, if type of animation is a string, if it's not a string, so trigger, so init happens when the animation is created, but we could also trigger that on animation start. The problem is we don't necessarily want to do that because at the time of animation start, the object might have been moved by another animation, right? I feel like I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I also feel like I'm very close to something potentially elegant. Puzzle end in... No, that's not the one we were looking for. So what I'm thinking of here, instead of all of this, now imagine instead of all of this, we had like an async flow where we'll have something like await, puzzles start, right? And then this would be after anim in, anim start out. So it'll basically, this will be anim start in, wait for button, anim start out, and then we'll have that. Now the other question is, can I do these as an async thing? Like what do we have? We have dialog initialization, which sets all this stuff up. Which isn't even async, which is just synchronous. The thing is, these, to make them async, it means there needs to be a last animation that returns, basically. And could we automate that? In other words, can the animation system say, hey, of this group of animations, when the last of the animations that aren't holding play is finished, return. So in theory, we might actually want to do this via... so if I do this... Thing is, the wait for button is really... it's really here. We could do show dialog as async, right? And then that should either fail on close or like return on close, like throw on exit, or it just should return a promise that when the dialog is closed. Now obviously that's a bit of a problem. I was going to say it's a problem with event handlers, arbitrary event handlers in here, but it could always return when the dialog is getting closed, right? So when a closed dialog call is called, the previous show dialog returns a promise, or the promise resolves. So show dialog might always return a promise. That might actually work, and that might be generic and backwards compatible. So right now this all works, right? We didn't change anything. We didn't do anything up here. Because I also like the idea of initializing all of these first and then starting the ones I want to start, and not mixing initialization and starting and then having some, you know, that whole on play, that whole play part. It's something that's so easy to overlook. Like, and then I have to look which ones are hold play, which ones are getting started, right? So hold play should maybe be default, and then afterwards I'll just say start. So start animation, even though right now it's both start and initialization, we basically want an in animation where it's just presuming hold play, right? And if we call it init animation, it would be quite explicit that... So what if we say init anim, right? We'll do the same thing. If anim is string, we'll just do return start anim, right? This will never happen because we're not actually starting animations here. And then this will always be false. And then we'll do this. And now, if we, instead of start anim, say init anim. Wait, if we start here, we end up like this. But now, after init anim, and I'm tempted to move the name over on this line, because now if I do this, I can, nope, I can't, never mind. I thought it would give me the names in the collapsed form. So we actually want to do then start anim board slide in, and which was the other one that's not hold play? Puzzle down, hold play, hold play, hold play, hold play. No, just this one actually. So we do this. Why is my progress gone? I'm trying to remember if this had an animation before. I don't remember that. So if I go here, okay, it's only the board slide in. From a structural point of view, I kind of like that. And then I don't have to write hold play everywhere. And I know it doesn't do anything, right? What I'm not sure is the frame on init. Does that make sense? Do we want to execute frame on init? Because we probably don't want to execute frame on init on these. But what frame on init does is basically when we're executing initialization, we're executing on frame once. What we probably want is frame on start. So the question is, can we actually do without these two on all of these? If we use init anim. Like if we do it like this, and then we'll do init anim, and then we'll have start anim. Yeah, you see, that's kind of the problem then. And the question is why? I think it's because of this one. Puzzle down. From top to here. I mean, in theory, all we need to do is execute that up here. I kind of skipped that, so then we're back to doing this kind of dangerous stuff. The white flash we can probably get rid of quite easily. I don't know if I'm onto something here or if I'm making things complicated and then I'll have to undo it later on when I realize it's less powerful. Because this would let us set up these animations and then start them down here. Let's have a quick look at what I thought about earlier with the dialog promise. So if we go to engine framework, show dialog. So what about if we do dialog already visible? This dot p current dialog, something like that, right? And then down here we're going to return this. And then this dot current equals new promise resolve reject. And then here we'll just say this dot p current dialog resolve equals resolve reject. So that shouldn't affect anything, right? All right. And then on close dialog, does close dialog happen even without executing close dialog? If I go here, do this, does close dialog happen? I don't know. I think so, right? Because it's an event handler. So we start the puzzle. We'll open a dialog and then just do this. We open a dialog, do this. Open a dialog, escape. Open a dialog, I don't know. Do this, yeah. So I think close dialog always happens. And then we should basically say if event yada yada yada, that's fine. If type of this equals function, then we'll probably need to do that later, actually. Probably do it down here. If overlay element is null, return. That would probably be equivalent to this not being a function, hopefully. Unless bad things happened. And, you know, this might help me finding bad things, right? So, we'll probably want to execute this. Not like that. Right. And then we'll probably want to remove these. So we want to do delete this dot that, reject, and eventually this as well. And then we'll want to do let p goes boom. Boom. Oh, let's make it res to make it super explicit. So we can kind of do this, right? And then in theory over here, not over here, over here, we can do await, and then here console.log after dialog. Before dialog, after dialog. So if I do this, yeah. Now the animations aren't getting set up here, and that's the problem. So on the dialog, do we have event handlers that we can use? Show dialog, trigger show dialog, I guess. So we'll probably here have to do framework.on show dialog, args. I mean, this is all theory crafting. I don't think this is necessarily a good idea. So if I do this, I'll obviously have to remove it after that as well. Wait, let's go here, close that. Bum, 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 unload, show dialog start, close dialog before dialog. So on show show dialogue. Show dialogue. All right, though that was wrong. So that's show dialogue. So if we do this, all right, so let's handle show dialogue. So if we do this, and then we'll do off. And then we'll do this in here, right? Show dialogue. So the animations works, right? And then start puzzle, boom, after dialogue. So that goes all the way down to close dialogue, which happens after the animations are finished. Which doesn't actually help us to run the animation on closing the dialogue, does it? I mean, there is a potential API improvement in here. I just don't see it right now. I don't think I have the value, if I'm honest. Can I just, nope, can I do that? Here we go. So we probably want to get rid of some of these changes again. Yeah. This is an interesting idea. If I can make an async interface, and to be honest, I've wanted this before. So it's definitely a possibility. So obviously this is no longer needed, this is no longer needed. And that's the already, like, if it's making things more complex. The thing is, it's not just about complexity, it's also about security. Like, if I do an await on this, I know that the code afterwards will always execute when the dialogue is getting closed. It just might be a bit late. All right. So we don't have this thing here, right? The other change we were thinking about was moving the animation starting into a separate call. So anim init puzzle start. Well, this is basically the same. It just means we can do without a lot of this stuff. To be honest, the frame on init on these was, I think, unnecessary. Except it might not be. The other thing is we could init all of these and then just start this one. I'm not seeing the benefit right now. Like, this encapsulation is already pretty good. And while this is like a page of code, it's not complex code. This stuff, like, looking at it this way, like, I almost don't want these in here. Like, they could go up here. So it also tells me that we potentially have an init, a shared init for multiple animations. Board slide in, puzzle down. Slide in, puzzle down. Slide clock. So all of these animations are really the out stuff, and only this one is the in stuff. And the only reason I grouped them together at all is because they share so many of these variables and such. If that's even true. Scale, top from, scale to, top from, scale from. That's just inverted for some reason. The terminology is scale to, scale to, scale from, scale to, scale from. Wait a second, scale from. Yeah, I think this should be the opposite way. But I'm also wondering if I've changed that. Yeah, like this, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. First of all, let's... And I'm realizing that the scale to is actually not a standalone variable. It goes with the scale from. And that's why they were in this order. And I think I'm going to swap these. Scale from, scale to. So this becomes scale from. This becomes scale to. This becomes scale from. And this becomes scale from. And now I either broke it all or it's working perfectly fine. All right, so far, so good. Okay. Do I want to make this change with the animation and have them all hold by default? I guess so. I guess so. And the reason we're kind of executing it is like we need the frame on init here for this one, unless we copy this code into the init for this one. This code actually could live here because we're not changing it anymore over here. Or just top change here. Oh no, top changes. Yeah. Okay. Well, to be honest, we've made some progress. I haven't really succeeded in extracting the animations altogether. I think this init animation here is actually useful. In fact, maybe I can move that part into this. So if I say, I think this part is identical, right? In fact, this part is this part, isn't it? So in theory, we can just do init anim. If I do this, right? Anim name, anim plain true. Return anim. No, we don't return from here just yet. Return anim. Okay. So now the question is, can we run init anim here? Anim equals init anim. And then we'll basically do start anim if not anim.holdPlay. So const holdPlay equals anim. So at this point, anim is not a string, it's not an array. And then here we'll just say if holdPlay anim.playing equals if holdPlay not equals true equals true, right? And then that should just be this, right? And then this part doesn't use init or start anim, so if that works the same, yeah. So we've basically kind of did the inverse. We gutted the init part out, and now the start deals with that stuff. And in fact, this doesn't make sense. Init anim with just a string doesn't make sense. equals string. Throw new error. Cannot init string. Cannot init anim. Something like that. So that gets initialized here. With that, defaults are here. Easing anim.ease, easing.linear, easing anim.ease, anim.ease, or easing anim.ease. This will already work, right? Because if it doesn't have a thing, so we can just do easing like that. I think. Okay. And then up here, anim playing equals true. If hold play is not equals true, anim playing is true. Actually, we can just pass that in here. We can do object.assign anim like that, and we can just say playing is m.hold play not equals true. So if hold play is not true, i.e. it's undefined, then playing is true. And then we don't need to do this or this. All right. And this probably should be above start. Init animation. If we're init animating a list, you cannot pass in strings to start them. Okay, that makes sense. All right. And basically start animation with an object just passes straight through. Boom, start, 5, finish, jim, jim, jim. All right, so to test this further, let's also move the other animation aspect into init animation. So, so we'll need us, oh geez, this is gonna be a bit tricky. I'm gonna zoom out for a sec. So at the bottom here, we're gonna start some animations, and we gotta figure out which ones. So init, frame on init true. Does this need frame on init? No. Does this need frame on init? Maybe it does. I don't know. Hold on play is only this one. You see, in a case like this, you kind of don't want it, because most of the animations are starting immediately, and only one is hold on play. Hey Christina, what's the name of the app you're working on now? Is it SudokuPad? No. This one is going to be called... I have a whole page of supposing. The code name is Gas Rise. It's going to be a gas app with the gas team. It will not have the ability to just open arbitrary puzzles. So this is going to be a standalone app with custom puzzles and a different UI, some artwork. You know, this is obviously just yada yada, and a theme, and and it's basically designed as a separate app. But a lot of the technology I'm building for it will make its way into SudokuPad down the line, and if this all works out, then I will probably rebuild SudokuPad with this technology, because this is much more modern. It won't have any of the problems that SudokuPad currently has. So the work I'm doing on this, 70% of it will be reused for SudokuPad. But right now, this is a separate app, and I hope, if it works out, I can do more of these with other, I was going to say artists, with other puzzle setters. There's a couple of puzzle setters which have a very specific style that I'd like to experiment with and create something much higher quality than the CTC apps. So it's not just a list of puzzles, but there's some more care behind it, which is not really obvious and visible because of the way I'm building it as a sort of rough prototype and all this. But the animations, but there'll also be like better hints. There will be there'll be things like little trophies. There will be you can gain your hats and your dinos and things like that. There'll be share buttons where you can share your progress and things like that. And there will be a much better policy around sharing. We'll have we're gonna have the plan right now is to have 9 sets of 9 puzzles, and one of those sets will be available freely ahead of time. So there'll be YouTube videos about it, things like that. And we won't be like super harsh about enforcing, don't share it, or don't share a screenshot, that all that bollocks. I don't care for that. This is hopefully going to support me and the puzzle setters, and hopefully will be a step forward for the community in how they can enjoy their puzzles. That's kind of the hope for this. I'm trying to think, the flash. When the flash happens, the flash happens, show page unload, page func, on before unload, page load. Is it that we're hiding the page during page unload? On before unload, page load. I'm not sure. Toby's hearing somebody. You heard the elevator too, eh? Toby, your ear is folded. Toby, give it a shake, 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 shake. Toby, oh, that freaks me out. Your ear is inside out, Toby. Shake your head, shake your shakes. Toby, shake, shake, shake. Oh, jeez. 1 second. I gotta fix my dog's ear. Hello? Right? Sorry? Right? No. Number 8? No, number 7. Probably. Yeah, now you're doing a shake. Well, Toby was right. It was somebody at the door, but it wasn't for us. Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to think. So right now, because we're doing a full page unload, I think the page unload actually removes the HTML. Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's a way that I can just mark the page as keep. Of course. Basically what we want to do is we want to do a page hold and say, hey, don't unload the page unless... Oh, maybe we can do it automatically if the same page gets loaded again. Because we're doing page load, and then the page unload happens during the page load. Ah, here, okay. So, so the page unload. So let's do this. Console.log page swap, and we'll basically want this dot current page, and then page. And I don't know if which ones of these are strings and what's not. What's not? So the point is, when we are here, and I press continue, we have that flash, and we'll do a swap from puzzle to puzzle. Now the thing is, can we afford to skip unload? What does unload do? On before unload, page puzzle, on before unload, shadow, timer stop. So there's stuff we want to do, but we'll basically want to say, we'll say that maybe none of this stuff needs to happen. Like keep HTML is kind of pointless if we're just going to bring it right back. So the only thing is this one. So we could do something like next page. Page load. So page load here. This page, is that a string? No. So that's already an object. So if I say page unload this, and we'll do something like next page equals. Like if we do this, right? We'll start it. We might be on the last puzzle though. Boom, yeah. So here we have this page swap, but on page unload, it says next page is puzzle menu, current page is puzzle. Now if we go here, start this, clear all this mess, and then we'll say continue, boom, flash, next page. So we have a page swap here. Okay, so we could, in theory, potentially skip all of this. We don't want to skip that part because these pages might have other properties, but we could maybe skip this part. If next page is not equal, in fact, we probably want to compare these like that. And if they're not equal to page, then we'll put it away. So start the puzzle, finish the puzzle, clear the log, and I think there's a problem because stuff doesn't get reset if we're doing that. Page unload. If this next page equals is not equal, so swap page swap is true. They are the same. Page.keep HTML page load. If oh wait. If we probably have to do the same thing here. So const prev page equals this dot current page. Boom boom boom. Bow. So console.log pref page how's that look? We'll start from here again. Start, boom, clear, continue, boom, boom, boom. Pref page equals page is false. Pref page equals new page is false. So then the question becomes, are these independent instances? So what about if we do this here? So let's do this. Pref this dot current page equals page. Okay. Would they be the same? Start. Room. Continue. Room. True. Okay. What about in here? Page load. Current page equals blah blah blah. And let's do the same thing up here. Page unload. Current page is not equal to next page. Oops. Current page equals next page. Current page equals page. Let's forget about that for a sec. And we'll just go current page equals page. All right. And let's start from the beginning here. We got that. So false, false, false. Okay. So at this point, true, true, false. Page load, current page equals page is false. So current page becomes undefined here. Oh, I see. So we don't actually want to look at current page. We want to look at prev page. If they're the same, this doesn't make any sense. So we potentially can actually do that. All right, we'll do that. Boom. Boom. Okay, we still get the flash. But here everything is still true. We could potentially skip all of this. Prev page is this current prev page here. Yeah. If is not equal to page, then only then do we do any of these things. Load resources. Not sure if we even want to do that. We might have to do the onload, on preload, and unload, and all that stuff. If I do this, still full on flashes, huh? It's still full on flashes. If page load, current page equals page. If this dot current page, console dot error grep new page. Grep new page. I'm just gonna say new page. And then for unload, we'll do the same thing. Page unload, new page. I'm not sure where the flashing happens. Is it in require resources, maybe? Require resources. If resources require resources. Maybe we need to skip that as well. If current page is unequal to page. Page, current page equals page. If current page is unequal to page. So pref page here, we always want to set that up. And then here we'll, thing is, this page unload actually executing anywhere else. Page load dependencies. Page load dependency. I might be screwing something up here. I gotta be careful. Page load, current page, page. If the page, if this dot pref page is not equal this dot current page, then do this. We probably want to do this. And we'll probably want to do this. I think. And then we want to do this dot pref page equals this dot current page. And then we'll set this up like that. Right. No. Null. Can't read properties of null. Wait, what? Shit. If this current page is not equal to page... Okay. Alright. Makes sense. That was silly of me. Alright. Start. 6. Boom. Okay, we still have a flash. But we don't get the new page. So the flash is coming from somewhere else. What is causing the flash? On preload. On before unload. Unload. On before unload. On before unload. App time stop close dialog. Onload. Is onload causing the flash? I mean, it could be in here somewhere, right? It's hiding the puzzle player. If I do a sleep here, so if I say await sleep 500, if I do something like that. Sleep 500. Oh. If I do this, I go in here, 1, 2, start puzzle. Okay, and now, 1, 2. Why does everything, so everything disappears before we get to this? On or unload. What if we do that here? So we start this, right? We clear it. Doom. We're here. 1, 2. So between, okay, so it's after on before unload. So on before unload. Page load, page func, onload, sure. So the question is, page unload. So this isn't really happen, right? So we're executing on before unload. We're waiting 2 seconds here. Right? That's page on before unload. So we have page unload, on before unload. We're waiting 2 seconds. Page load. From here, page load, all of the shenanigans. None of this happens on preload, where we don't do anything, and this is probably super small for you guys. So page load, and then on load is the first thing that happens. All right, so console.log .error, so we can see it. Sleep start, sleep end. And then we'll do the same thing in on load. Right here. On load, sleep start, sleep end. 1, 2, boom. All right, clear. 1, 2. And then we have an error. Huh? What was that? Sleep start. So because we're not executing this code, we're hitting a condition it doesn't like. Access. So because some code executes the moment we're loading the page in, is that what's happening? So it's definitely related to the resource loading, right? And here we're hijacking the mechanism. Access to fetch from origin. Script starting app. Starting app. Okay, well, we can probably ignore all these. Except it goes straight to the error handler, huh? Why is it going to undefined? Oh, is it because the URL change is happening too late? Okay, so we'll probably have to move the weighting down to here. Somewhere along here. All right, let's try that. Okay, oh, I forget about the delays. All right, let's start here. 1, 2, boom. Start. Okay. All right, so the moment we press this button, we have 2 2-second delays. 1, 2, done. 1, 2, done. So there is the flash after this. So let's see if we can experience it from here. So the flash, is it maybe just the dialogue that does the flashing? What if we put this after the no pause on start change? Like here. So if we go here. Is it the dialogue flashing? Because that would be a relatively easy fix, right? We can just change, hijack the dialogue somehow, whatever, you know. Okay. 1, 2, blank, 1, 2. So why were we blank at that point? So we definitely went blank between these two. So in this, here we went blank, and this is pretty quick. Page puzzle load. The question is, did we go blank before or after this part? What if we skip this? Is this the one that does the blanking? So if we go back here, start 1, 2, start 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that gets rid of the flash. If we make this a little bit slower, I mean a little bit faster, but still long enough that we should be able to tell if the flash happens first or after. Start. Boom, boom. Start. And now if we do it without the flash, I mean without the sleep. All right, we'll start. Do this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so this will work now because the animations should sort that out. So we should be able to do this without that now. I don't actually know if that means we needed all of this stuff, but I do kind of like it. We probably don't need it because there's probably not enough time for a re-render at that point. That's my suspicion. And these. All right, let's redo that. Boom. Start. Boom. Continue. Boom. Now there's a brief flash because I think it destroys the dialogue and re-renders it. But, you know, that's a different problem and we can probably solve it in a similar fashion. Yeah, so the puzzle getting flashed on there, that's what I was trying to hide here. But you know what? Maybe we don't have to hide the whole puzzle player. Page puzzle, puzzle.html. Let's see, puzzle player is the whole thing. What if we just hide the board? I don't even know if we need to hide the controls. So, I think the puzzle player, I don't know if it starts out as invisible, to be fair. But what if we say just .board here and .board here? Is that enough? So we go back to here, start that, start, do that, do that. We probably want to hide the controls as well. Basically, just not the top bar, I guess. Controls, game and controls. So, controls. Boom. I mean, to be fair, the overlay is the thing that actually flashes and reveals what's underneath. So if we could maintain the overlay, it wouldn't make sense to hide the controls. Why does the overlay go? Because it's part of the dialogue, isn't it? So I think hiding the controls isn't actually gonna change anything, is it? I think I'm on the last puzzle, right? Boom. Felt like there was still a flash. Yeah, the controls flash because this gray part disappears. So that's something we need to fix. All right, guys, I think I'm going to take a break, a little lunch break, and so on and so forth. But I think we've made good progress cleaning this whole thing up, making it into a better structure. And I would like to experiment with like a more of a full screen UI, especially on mobile. But I hope I can make it work well enough on desktop. I mean, not the menu. Yeah, I mean, on desktop this looks weird, right? Also, wait a second. That, I noticed that... Ooh. Yeah, that fading down is not quick enough. It just happens to work out on a mobile phone thing. Aspect ratio. Oh, it even works here. It's just when I switch from one to the other without refreshing, it has the wrong numbers in there. Okay, no. We're good with that. All right. I mean, it's tricky. I really need to get my head around doing a mobile-first interface that still works well on desktop, rather than something that's sort of hybrid. That's like half-half, which is kind of how it has been. I mean, I think I was experimenting with transitions in and out of the puzzles as well. Yeah, I think these were also sliding off. All right. This stuff now I should be able to clean up a little bit. Yeah. And I did away with all the loader spinners and all that stuff. And this was all the garbage with the interstitial pages. All right. Yeah, I need to clean this up as well. But I think a lot of this code is a pretty decent combination of clean and doing what I wanted to do. And actually even a little bit robust, perhaps. Yeah. Maybe we can delay the unloading kind of to a, like, but that's kind of what the unload is. It's delaying the unloading until we're loading the next page. Yeah. I mean, this is, like, I was just thinking, like, if we roll this into this, but this is kind of what we're doing here, right? We're like, we've pulled out the parts that change from page to page, and then if we're switching amongst the same page, then what remains are the whatchamacallem, the event handlers, right? Maybe prev page shouldn't change on unload. Maybe it should change here. No, because current page gets set to undefined, right? Yeah, prev page just always should be set here. And then current page should always be set, but since it's the same, we don't have the same problem here. At what point do we unset prev page, though? Never, I guess, eh? There's nothing else we can do besides loading a page or not loading a page. Like, you cannot unload 2 pages and then have no previous page. That doesn't make sense. Alright. Okay, guys. I'm gonna call it here, but I'm glad I'm back on the saddle, and it wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be. I thought I left it in a much bigger mess. Yeah, the interstitial integration and the animation between the other kinds of pages aren't there, but that's fine. That's actually no big deal. And I'm quite happy with the little bit of refactoring. We cleaned up that start.js, so that's now really just, whoops, just homogeneous page definitions, and no kind of special deals or anything like that. All right, Toby's already on my case. 1 second, let me let him out. Let's go outside. Toby always gets bored when he's with me. I wonder why. All right. Anyways, no end of stream game today. I think I'm just gonna call it here. Probably a very technical stream, but I'm quite happy. We've made some progress with the puzzle pack stuff, and we did that yesterday. And I think these two kinds of things will connect to each other. Oh yeah, and I definitely need to deal with the screenshot mechanism here, that I can cleanly abort that so it doesn't do this kind of thing. Yeah, it takes 130 milliseconds to do a screenshot. Man, I need to improve that somehow. All right, anyway, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and take care, and see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.